Welcome back to the channel. What is going on with the goings on with D.A. Love? She is trying to revoke Tounk's probation and give him 30 years, y'all. Let's get straight into it. Hit the like button, subscribe, and definitely turn on your notification bell so when I get the drop, you get the drop. And thank you for tuning in. Let's get it. In the Superior Court of Fulton County, State of Georgia versus Antonio Sledge, state motion and petition to revoke probation. The State of Georgia, by and through Fannie T. Willis, District Attorney for the Atlanta Judicial Circuit of Georgia, and the undersigned Chief Deputy District Attorney, Adam Abbott, hereby moves this honorable court to revoke the defendant probation in the above style manner in accordance with OCGA 42-8-341 and other authorities. In support of this motion, the state presents the following to the court. Plea of guilty by the defendant on December the 28th, 2022. On December 28, 2022, the defendant pleaded guilty to conspiracy to violate the Racketeering, Influence, and Corrupt Organization Act and possessions of a firearm by a convicted felon. Chief Judge Glanville sentenced him to 30 years of probation, which is ridiculous. The general and special conditions of probation were detailed in the final deposition sentencing sheet filed on that date. Special conditions of defendant's sentence. Chief Judge Glanville imposed several special conditions on the defendant's probation, including a requirement that he fully adhere to all terms of the negotiated agreement. Any failure to comply with these terms will be considered a violation of the agreement. Of this motion are the following special conditions. Defendants shall abide in full by each and all of the terms of this negotiated agreement. Defendant failure to abide by any terms of this agreement shall constitute a violation of the agreement. Defendant shall testify truthfully about all matters relating to this case upon which he is questioned at any trial or judicial proceedings stemming from the facts alleged in this indictment, in accordance with testifying truthfully about all matters relating to this case. Defendant acknowledged that each and all of the statements contained within the defendant's factual acknowledgement section of this agreement are true. Defendant shall testify truthfully about each statement contained within defendant's factual acknowledgments and any matter related to this case when asked to do so in any proceeding related to the facts alleged in this indictment. Well, he did tell his truth. His truth was not the prosecution's truth. But let's continue. Defendant violated special conditions of his probation. The defendant has violated all special conditions of his sentence outlined above. On September the 4th, 2024, he was called to testify in the trial of this case, with his testimony continuing through September the 6th, 2024, during which he underwent both direct and cross-examination. During his testimony, the defendant directly contradicted the special conditions of his plea agreement by disavowing the factual acknowledgement he had sworn were accurate and true during the plea hearing on December 28, 2022. Mounk better he need a new lawyer, not that lawyer that got him in this mess. He needs a good lawyer. But let's continue, you guys. I'm pissed with this. At that time, he had the opportunity to correct or clarify any statement in the factual acknowledgement before affirming their truth under oath. He also confirmed that he fully understood the agreement and had discussed it in detail with his chosen attorney, Derek Wright. Most importantly, the defendant acknowledged that he understood that any violation of the special conditions of this plea agreement could lead to the revocation of his probation, with the district attorney recommending the maximum sentence allowed by law in Georgia Department of Correction. He confirmed both in writing. any failure and verbal that he entered into the plea agreement freely, knowingly, and voluntarily without any force, threatened, or coerced. It is evident that the defendant knowingly and willingly violated the special conditions of his negotiated plea agreement with the intent to disrupt the trial of this case. Therefore, the state of Georgia requests that this petition to revoke probation be scheduled for a hearing and that the defendant be ordered to appear before this court to explain why his probation sentence should not be revoked in its entirety. Respectfully submitted this 9th day of October. So let's get into why she's doing this. He embarrassed her. He ruined her case. Him and Woody. So she can't go after Woody because Woody don't have no pending case. He has this effed up agreement so she can go after him. So that's what she's doing. Let's get into it.
I think so.
Were there deputies?
I think so.
Were there DA investigators?
I think, yes.
Obviously, you said your lawyer was here?
Yes.
All right. Was your friend Shannon here?
If you try to get to the point...
Mr. Sledge, I'm not trying to get to anything, and I really do need you to just answer the question. So if you could please, Your Honor, if the court would instruct the witness to answer the question.
Listen to the question and answer the question
And then
that's
you
asked,
can-
and then you may explain it.
I would ask
And Your Honor, since his answer was not responsive,
His answer was not responsive.
I'd ask that you
Re-ask the question.
Was your friend, Mr. Stillwell, here in court with you on December 28, 2022?
No.
Was your friend, Defendant Williams, here in court with you on December 28, 2022?
No.
Was your friend, Defendant Kendrick, here in court with you on December 28, 2022?
No.
Was the lawyer for your friend, Mr. Williams, here in court with you on December 28, 2022?
No.
Was the lawyer for your friend, Mr. Stillwell, here in court with you on 2022?
No.
Was the lawyer for your friend, Mr. Kendrick, here in court with you on December? The objection.
Okay, why you
Hold on,
running?
Mr. Young.
Relevance to whether I was in attendance at the time he took his plea.
Your Honor,
Overruled.
was the lawyer for your friend, Mr. Kendrick, here in court with you on December 28, 2022? You can answer first, and I will let you explain, but I need you to answer yes or
No.
no.
But could you stop yelling at me like I'm your child or something like your child?
You are not.
You talking aggressive to me. You don't intimidate me. All them guys over here. So if you would have came to me and asked me this, I'd have told you the same thing. What if they was in my face or not in my face? I'm not scared of them, are you?
I don't want you to be.
Well, that's what you acting like it. That's what you acting like you're trying to
So
paint.
do you want me to bring my voice down? And I apologize.
Don't holler at me.
if it
I ain't
sounds
no
like
child. Could I take a break? Y'all come.
No, we've had so many breaks this
Yeah,
morning. We
'cause
really need to get through this.
All right. So, Mr. Sledge, was either Quay that is in the courtroom here today in the courtroom with you on December 28, 2022?
No.
Was Lil Rod in the courtroom with you on December 28, 2022?
Get to your point. No.
That is my point.
Your point is
Okay.
pointless.
Was the lawyer for Mr. Huey Quay in court with you on December 28, 2022?
No.
Was the lawyer for Cornelius Nichols in court with you on December 28, 2022?
No.
Was the lawyer for Little Rod in court with you on December 28, 2022?
I don't know if that's been asked and answered or not.
It was not.
Okay, well, go ahead if you say it was.
Was the lawyer for
No.
Little Rod
No.
on cross-examination? Defendant Stillwell's attorney, Mr. Sharp, asked you about Shell, Kel, and Trivia. Do you remember that?
I don't recall.
All right. When did you lose recollection of what happened 3 days ago?
I don't recall.
Are all of your answers to every question I ask from now on going to be, I don't recall?
Yes.
Why?
Because I don't recall.
And what caused you to lose your memory?
You put so much pressure on my brain, I don't forgot everything. I can't remember all this stuff that's been asked to me for the last 4 days. It's like, it's confusing. So I'm not, like you said, I completed the 9th grade. I'm not that intelligent to be remembering all this stuff that you keep asking me. My brain just everywhere. I might need to go see somebody after this quick time.
Mr. Sledge, did you have any problem at all understanding the questions asked to you about Brian Steele?
I don't recall.
Right. Did you lose your memory at any point with Mr. Steele?
He wasn't pressuring me like you. He was helping me. He was explaining to me, he was breaking down. But it seemed like
What you're saying, I'm gonna respond to that.
Objection. The witness should be allowed to answer the question.
Were you finished with your answer?
no, she couldn't. No.
Go ahead. Go ahead, please.
I said Mr. Steele was explaining to me. He wasn't pressuring me, but every time it seems like I'm getting up there with you, I'm giving you my truth, and you still trying to pressure me to say something you want me to say when I'm giving you the truth that I know.
Mr. Sledge, do you understand that there's a difference between the way that a prosecutor can ask you questions and the way that a defense attorney can ask you questions?
No.
Do you understand that I cannot lead you when I'm asking you questions?
Sustained.
Okay. When you say that there's a difference between the way that Mr. Steele asks you questions and the way that I ask you questions, would you help me understand what that difference is so that I can ask you questions in a way that does not frustrate?
Oh, well, and he kind of has told you.
She didn't say it. She said you overruled.
Ask your next question.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, will you help me a little bit so that I'm not frustrating you, okay?
You already have.
I understand.
I don't need to.
Can we rewind?
No.
All right. When you were asked about Antrevia, was Shell Kell the person you said who had also started a relationship with Antrevia after you?
I don't recall.
What is confrontational about that question?
I just don't recall.
Why don't you recall?
Because you pressured me. I don't recall. You hurt my brain.
All right, so let's take an early lunch and you can calm down in the meantime, hopefully, and then we will come back.
Call between a rock and a hard place with Mr. Sharp as far as coming in here and testifying to something different than what you put in the factual acknowledgments.
I came, from my understanding, I would be able to explain the things that you wouldn't change.
Mm-hmm.
That was from my understanding. So now I'm in here testifying my truth and not what you put on paper and your answer. These is not my answers on this paperwork. Yeah, I did sign it, but if you would have came to me personally, like I think you should have did, and asked me this yourself, I would have told you no.
Did you testify that lay low were my words and not yours when I asked you on direct examination about defendant Williams giving YSL members money to lay low after the murder of Donovan Thomas?
So you asked me at that meeting, I told you he could have gave YSL money to lay low because I'm the only one who stayed in Atlanta. me money to get out of harm's way. I borrowed $300.
I'm talking about in court last week. Do you remember saying, I didn't say lay low, those were your words.
Them is your word. I didn't say lay low. That was already on this paper. I never used the word lay low to you not one time. All this stuff that you trying to say, it was already on the paper. You changed certain things and then we agreed, and then I'm gonna be honest with you, I didn't even want to say this. I got another paper that's saying you changed number 8. It went from one thing to another thing. You don't want to red flag that.
No, I do.
Okay.
So, thank you.
Because you changed the personal knowledge and I ain't changed it.
Thank you for that.
I would have never said yes to that. When I got to the last paperwork, I thought we had an understanding of what the emails my lawyer sent you.
So do you now remember getting multiple versions of states 444Y that was changed at your request?
Not all of it.
Okay. Well, let's just show you. And you tell me which ones you remember.
Sure, ain't gonna make me remember none of this stuff. I ain't gonna remember none.
So, do you remember asking the state to change more than one thing on the factual acknowledgement?
A lot of times.
Do you remember the state making changes at your request?
I don't really know because I seen something different today that it wasn't what I thought it was the day I agreed.
Do you remember last week testifying that you hadn't seen any other document besides the one you signed?
I just seen them today.
Okay.
I didn't see it. My lawyer was just coming asking me, and I guess he thought the question was gonna be changed, and I don't think they was changed.
Okay. Well, we'll get to that. Since you won't remember, that's fine. I want you to tell the jury.
I never used the word tell the jury. I just said exactly what you said to me. I say, Miss Love told me that she didn't want me to say that, and she wasn't gonna ask me that question.
Okay, so then your memory is not, you don't remember telling Mr. Steele, you do not remember asking Mr. Steele saying, did Miss Love tell you do not tell the jury?
If he said jury, I forgot. I made a mistake. And I should have corrected Mr. Steele if he said jury. But I'm telling you what you said to me and to me. I ain't saying you said don't tell it to the jury. But that's the way I took it too, cause that's who I'm supposed to be talking to, right? Telling the truth to, right?
Right.
Okay, so in my way, not the lawful way, that's the way I took it. Cause if somebody tell me, oh, I don't want you to tell my girlfriend this, I'm gonna take it as, you know what I'm saying? You don't want me to tell the truth.